Here it is, guys, a replacement for the F. This is my 99 Dodge Viper RT10. I've always wanted this car since I was a kid, and I sold the F, got a house with a garage, and it was time to put something less practical in there. I've always bought cars with the idea that I could daily drive them, and I could probably do so with this, but it's just too nice of a car. So, this is a 99 Dodge Viper RT10. The car of many a childhood boy and girl probably of the 80s and 90s who grew up with this car on their walls, in their games. This was the car on the CD for Gran Turismo 1, Gran Turismo 2. It dominated Le Mans, it dominated drag strips. Even Top Gear, Jeremy Clarkson, and so many other reviewers were just in shock at how good of a car this could be. It handled great. The V10 was rare as hell, let's put it that way. And the looks, even today, are just stunning. I mean, every angle. I know everybody wants the coupe, but even the Roadster. I mean, this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous car. So, the Gen 1 came out in 1992 to 95. It had the side pipes. It had no fender vents. It didn't have door handles, didn't have windows. It only basically got a radio and a big engine, and that was pretty much it. It was a concept car that they brought to life. It had 400 horsepower. It didn't handle quite as great as these. The Gen 2 introduced the coupe. They spent a lot of money on engineering the handling. They added door handles, windows, AC, hardtop, try to make it a bit more practical. But they actually kept the Roadster going, obviously, as I have one. But everybody did want the coupe, and they also added more horsepower, 450 horsepower. And as I said, the engineering, they made it handle a lot better too. So overall, it was the Gen 2 is the car to have. The Gen 1 still brings serious money, but most of those are collector cars. I mean, they don't even have airbags. And while I do, I don't know, I have 25-year-old ones, so I'm not even sure that they work. So I knew I wanted a Gen 2 just to be a little bit more practical. Now, I did want the coupe, but dollar for dollar, they bring a lot more money. Everybody else wants the coupes too. And I noticed that same year, same miles, the coupes tend to go for 20 to 30 grand more, which I get. You know, I understand it's a bit more practical car. It probably even handles a little bit better, just less chassis flexibility. The looks are, bar none, probably the best in my eyes. But this is a very close number 2. There's not a bad angle on this car, I think. And just the way it sits, it's wide, it's gorgeous, the hips. I mean, this is a stunning, stunning car. So, the Gen 2 from 96 to 99 had forged internals and a bit of a lopey cam. So when you compare them on YouTube, they just sound a bit more aggressive. They sound like it's an aftermarket cam, very choppy. The 2000 to 2002 also lost the forged internals. I don't know whether for cost or for maybe weight, but if you were to add turbo, supercharger, nitrous, whatever, they were called cream puff motors because they tended to blow. So the cream of the crop is really the 96 to 99 Viper. And the 02 did add ABS, but honestly, I don't know that that would save you. They still, Gen 1, Gen 2 had no traction control, no stability control, really no safety nannies. So it was really, the appeal of the car was always that it was a driver's car. I mean, there's no automatic. There's no sitting back and just relaxing. There's no cruise control in this car even. It can basically lose control pretty quickly if you don't know what you're doing. That being said, the limits of that are very, very high. This is a well-handling car. It's got 285s in the front, 335 in the back, and that's factory. A lot of people upgrade to 295, 355s. And yeah, so I knew I wanted a Gen 2 forged motor, and although I don't plan to supercharged or anything. It's nice to see that these actually are pretty bulletproof if you just stay bolt-on mods. And even honestly, if you run nitrous on the forged motor, no issues. So I knew I wanted something I can beat on. The other close second car I wanted was 996, 997, but they have so many little issues. Well, really two big issues. The IMS isn't even a concern. It's really the bore scoring. So that's for another conversation. But yeah, so I wanted the coupe. Same year, same miles. These are quite a bit cheaper. I'll give you an example. I looked at a 99 local car. It was pretty beat. It was the cheapest GTS coupe I could find. It did fail PPI, it needed a few things, and it was about 50 grand. This one originally was listed in the 40s. I got them down to low 30s, but it did need some things. And I knew going in, I'd rather spend money on the maintenance and know exactly what was done rather than be given kind of a folder and hope that the folder is accurate. So let's see. So yeah, so this is a 99, 58,000 miles. I bought it in April. I bought it in Dallas, Texas from a gentleman. He actually had a 05 or 06 as well. And we did the PPI. The numbers were great. So it just needed, obviously spark plugs with the PPI. It had a leaky water pump, so that was fixed. Once I had it shipped, I wanted to drive it, but I was just in a crunch on time. So I had it shipped over to Maryland. I'm in Baltimore here. And from then on, we just replaced the pulleys, because the pulleys have a common issue where they tend to go bad, especially the power steering pulley. Changed all the fluids, trans, diff, clutch, brake, coolant, you name it. Did engine mounts, did new tires, did some hoses, new battery, really just odds and ends any 25-year-old car would need. Nothing really major. And it rips, it handles great. I mean, I put fresh tires on it. They're 285 and 335 in the back. And my goal was really to knock out all the maintenance to make it drivable, hour or two away. And then obviously mod it. So it came with a few mods. It came with a muffler delete, which I didn't quite love. I've changed that out. It came with these forged line wheels. They are two-piece. They are old, but they still shine up. So not too bad. The rears look a little bit better, a little bit more lip. Did come with the stock wheels as well. Then the owner did the ACR stripes. I was initially on the fence about keeping them, but I've gotten a lot of compliments, and honestly, the more you see it, just the colors, they go together with the steering wheel. That's also aftermarket, and yeah, I may keep it for a season. Other than that, it had a short shifter on it, and it had a cheap Pioneer deck. I upgraded the deck to a single DIN flip out. That gives me CarPlay and Waze, Spotify, a backup camera. As I said, it came with a short shifter. It came with the wheel aftermarket with the red stripe. It actually, interestingly enough, came with the Vanzano interior. This was a gentleman that sadly passed this year, but he did a lot of these in custom color combinations. So this one held up pretty well, and yeah, so pretty nice. They also come in a caramel color called Cognac and a black interior color. Let's see. So I got it fairly stock, as I said. It came with a muffler delete. I really wanted to bring out the noises without killing myself as far as drone. As you guys may know, I did a lot of exhaust mods on my previous cars just to limit the drone. And yeah, so Corsa is apparently the exhaust to get. There's Borla, Billy Boat, and some other ones that are in the $1,200 to $2,000 range. The Corsa is closer to $3,000, but worth every penny because I got it paired with high flow cats. The high flow cats I got from Bellinger, stainless steel, and yeah, With the high flow cats and the Corsa, 0 drone. They weren't lying. Sounds amazing. It's choppy. I wouldn't say it's a European V10. It's more so choppy, kind of like a Harley Davidson.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kind of more high-pitched sound, so I'll definitely put some videos up of that and start it up here in a second. But since then, I've actually gone cat delete. I deleted the kitties, and man, it screams now. I will say there's a bit more drone. I'm still kind of on the fence about keeping it, but yeah, that's Jesus Christ. Holy shit! That can't be normal. That's been the first 2 mods. Tires I did. I upgraded the pulleys when we changed those out. Instead of some cheap ones, we did IPSCO. We also got a trans brace with a poly bushing. And then we upgraded some lights. Let me put those on. We also did 3 new speakers. The center sub. Kind of sucks because there's not much space to put a sub in there. Most people put one in the trunk. But in my eyes, it's still not enough bass. So I did replace the sub, even put spacers on it to get a bit of a deeper sub. But yeah. And then 2 new side speakers. Let's put on the lights. And did LEDs just to kind of modernize the car a little bit. So there you go. Oh, I think I got the high beams. Let me see. Get the fogs right quick. There we go. So look at that. Brand new. I wish they made a car as pretty as this today. I mean, this is just gorgeous. And so yeah, what else we do? We added a backup camera, as I said. That was kind of a nightmare to wire. Apparently the trunk is fully sealed off in the cabin, so there's no easy way to do it. But it's been done. We got the plate. We got the nice Corsa tips. Look at that booty. I mean, I'm in love with this car. There's not a bad angle in this car. The only downside is wheel fitment. Well, not so much the wheel fitment, but the suspension stock. I mean, this is 4 fingers, almost 5. My fist in there. Same thing up front, about 3.5 fingers. But that being said, the car is low. So you can't see it, but behind the Jay Leno chin, there's a lip underneath there. And Basically makes it about 3.5 inches off the ground, but we're still going coilovers. Already ordered, so we'll drop it about 3/4 to an inch in the front, about an inch, inch and a half in the back. So, I mean, look at that. That is stunning. So coilovers are the next mod. Other than that, like I said, a ton of maintenance just to get it to be able to be driven a few hours from the house. I do have a hardtop for it. I don't have a soft top. The hardtop, you really gotta trust the weatherman because it doesn't fit in the trunk. Another thing I want to do is I want to paint the calipers over the winter, and ideally I'd even like to replace them because although the fronts are okay, the rears are the epitome of baby brakes. They are tiny. A common mod, they put the front in the rear and upsize the fronts, and maybe that's what we'll do. So let's see. So one thing I didn't mention when doing the exhaust, these have a tendency to be very, very warm just from the dealer. And they even had a sticker here where it would burn you. Now the first generation was even worse about this because of the side pipes, but the sticker is still there. And what happens is there's heat shielding on the side sill and on the chassis that is supposed to prevent that. But over time, even 5 or 10 years in, the OEM heat shielding, it goes bad. And when we pulled it off, I actually had none. So it was quite hot. Now on the exhaust, we did have an old heat blanket that sometime when they did muffler delete, they added a heat blanket on it. But that went bad. And the big problem is that the cats heat up so much, basically from the engine, they go right here, the cats, and then it goes into resonators right here. They meet in the middle for a muffler back here. And basically when we did the exhaust, we added sticky shield. I found this online. It's basically a sticker that has heat shielding. So that went on the inside, on the side sill, and then around the exhaust, we added more heat shield armor blanket. I'll show photos. And so yeah, other than that, like I said, maintenance, a bunch of fluids, bushings, anything really, rubber cracked, whatever. And mods just loud enough to enjoy. And handling is next. Want to do coilovers, some suspension, redo the bushings, so on and so on. Eventually I would like to do gears, and I'd like to do 19-inch wheels. They come with 18s. I did get the OEM 18s, but these are 18 by 10, 18 by 13, and they look so much better with 19s, I think. So that's maybe for next summer. Other than that, it's just a beautiful car to enjoy. I mean, I did want the coupe, but you can't beat driving with the top down. And it definitely is a different experience. Everything is louder, everything is closer. And the body lines on this car, I mean, this is gorgeous. I cannot take my eyes off of it. I'll sit in the garage sometimes and just stare at it. So beautiful car. Let me start it up for you guys. Let's see. So we'll start it up. Cool key. That peak 90s technology. So yeah. I'm just in awe on this. It's the simple things. So let's show you guys the engine. Let's see, you open it up here. Now, this car is a little tricky. I didn't go into some of the negatives, but it's got some weird quirks and features. One thing is the battery is back here. You can jump it under the hood, but to replace the battery, you got to replace the wheel. Kind of a pain. Another weird thing, the steering or the belts are on the opposite side, so you plug into there, plug into there. The hood, one giant piece, gorgeous, 15 grand. Headlights, 3 to 5 grand each. They did come out just this year with new plastic panels, maybe glass, but the hood is very easy to mess up if you close it wrong, if you open it wrong, and it's a big reason why a lot of these cars have been totaled. Obviously, it's a handful to drive, but a headlight, hood can easily total a car out. So let's get this. Clicks there, and then just slides up. And ideally you open this with 2 people, but it can be done. Clearly, we have done it. This is what you're paying the money for. This is the reason. This is the 8-liter V10, 450 horsepower. The ACR actually had smooth tubes like this. ACR had 460, so I assume this has 460. Has K&N air filters. I didn't really go into the ACR. ACR is coupe only. It had different wheels, coilover suspension that you could adjust. It had harnesses in the seats, stock. It had fog light delete, AC delete if you wanted to, and handle a little bit better. Not as quite as aggressive as the later ACR models with the big wing and the arrow and stuff. But yeah, everything's pretty accessible, pretty easy to work on, pretty easy to get to. A lot of people call these speakers. Obviously not speakers, but it goes to HVAC, it goes to something else. But yeah, so basically a concept car brought to life. So now, as I mentioned, it's fragile, so the way you close it is first you lock it on all sides. So we'll do that here, and it's kind of fiberglassy and flexible. So we not lock, but at least put it right where it needs to go. And then if you ever have to open and close one, you don't shut it right here. You have to put it, basically close it right there, right where the supports are. So more like right here. So let's do that. And that's it. So if you've stuck around this long, I appreciate you. I know I ramble, so thank you for listening. And let me know what you think. I mean, it's a crazy car. It's got some mods on it. Should I keep the stripes? What wheels should I get? Should I get 19s? If you're interested, this is 35% tint, what it looks like. Like I said, I'd only wanted it to not burn my arm. And yeah, let me know what I should do next. Coilovers are already ordered. I'd like to replace some more bushings, lower control arm bushings, steering column bushings, and yeah. So again, don't have to subscribe, don't have to like. I hate when people ask that, but I appreciate you sticking around, and yeah, take it easy.